6 weeks, 6 challenges to enter 2026 as your absolute best self. I want you to lock in with me so that we can end 2025 with a bang. Here is how it works. Each week from now on for the next 6 weeks, we'll take on one brand new glow up challenge. And each challenge targets a different area of your life that directly impacts how you look, feel, and show up every single day. And trust me, by the end of these 6 weeks, this would not feel like hacks. It will feel like your new rhythm. You'll carry their effects far beyond these 6 weeks into the rest of your life in 2026. So grab a pen and paper because we are starting right now. And in the comments, I want you to write, I'm logged in for 6 weeks so that I know that you're serious. We start off week 1 with a bang with your mental glow up by unrotting your brain. It is all about refreshing your mental system. Because like I've said time and again, your brain, my brain, our brains are rotting from constant scrolling, endless short form videos, 12 tabs open at the same time, dopamine hits every second. And then we wonder why we can't focus, why we feel drained, and why even the smallest tasks feel like lifting a boulder. So for week 1, we are detoxifying our overstimulated brains by rebuilding focus and curiosity. And we are not doing anything extreme. You just need to follow these 3 simple daily actions for the next 7 days. Action 1 is to read 1 article every single day. This will take 10-15 minutes at the max, and you are feeding your mind with something intentional, not something the algorithm decides for you. So pick one topic that excites you or that anything that you want to learn more about, and you can use apps like Substack, Medium, the Ken. Avoid newspapers because there's a lot of negative news in those, and I will also link some of my favorite Substacks in the description below that you can go check out if you want some mind-feeding reading. If you cannot find absolutely anything at all, there's this website called Read Something Great. You can go on there and they refresh new articles every single week. They pick it from some of the best sources on the internet, and you can always find something to enjoy there. They have a very, very good collection. And if you want to go a step further, you can also save the articles that you read and like into a folder. This way you can come back to it whenever you want to refresh something that you had learned about. Action number 2 is to build your dopamine menu. So shout out to Jessica McCabe of How to ADHD for coming up with this. It's basically a list of simple activities that actually make you feel better when you are feeling down. And I know I said a while back that I will make like a dopamine menu reel or short or a video, but I'm talking about it in this video. So you are basically going to create 4 categories: appetizers, your entrees or your main course, your sides, and your desserts. Okay? Now, appetizers are basically quick boasts of joy that you can do in under 10 minutes. So examples are making your bed, stretching, stepping outside for getting some sunlight, brewing your favorite coffee, playing with your pet, things like that, right? Anything that gives you like a boost of energy or a boost of dopamine, but does not take more than 10 minutes. That's your appetizer. So this is a list of my appetizers. You can take a look, you can take inspo if you want. After that, you come to your entrees or your main course. These are the things or the passions that fuel you, that fill you up, but they take more time than 10 minutes. So maybe an hour, 2 hours, something that you dedicatedly need to do. So things like going to the gym, journaling, painting, reading a few chapters of a book, cooking a meal, learning something new. Here again are my entrees or my main course. You can again take inspo if this feels like you. Basically, for this entire list, for all of these 4 sections, I want you to really think and fill it with things that really, really fuel you. Don't just copy off other people's lists. You can, look at these for inspiration, but I want you to create your own lists because nobody knows you better than you. After your main course and your entree, we come to your sides, which are things that you can do on the side of boring tasks to make them more stimulating. For example, listening to a podcast while you're doing your laundry or you're cleaning, or lighting a candle while you're working, or using a timer for focused sprints, things like that. For me, my top 2 are listening to podcasts or listening to music while I'm doing house chores, and those are the only times that I can actually listen to sides or actually use sides as a part of my dopamine menu, because otherwise I'm not able to multitask and this doesn't really work for me, right? If I'm doing a dopamine menu activity, it has to be a dedicated activity. Otherwise, I'm just too scattered to pay attention to either of the things that I'm doing. And finally, we come to section number 4, which is desserts, which is our usual dopamine activities, things that we currently do like, Netflix and YouTube that feel good for us, but they're called desserts because you only can use them in moderation. So Netflix, online shopping, YouTube, whatever it is, you note it down, and these are things that you're allowed to do for not more than 5 minutes at a time, right? That ensures that you keep it in the dessert category. So now, once you have your list, I want you to print it out and I want you to keep this visible, whether on your desktop, on a bulletin board, wherever you can look at it every single day. And every time your brain screams for stimulation. It, pushes you to go pick up your phone and start scrolling. I want you to pick something from your dopamine menu and do that instead. And finally, action number 3 is to do a brain puzzle or a cognitive task every single day for the next 7 days. Now, once you've, fed your focus with quality inputs, you need to reignite that center of your brain that drives through curiosity, that builds your problem solving, because that is what ensures that you stop relying on cheap hits of dopamine. So things like Sudoku, Wordle, crosswords, you can use, brain puzzle apps like Lumosity. I use that one personally. All of these things that force you to get out of the zone that you're in and to think critically and apply that thinking onto things so that your muscle, your memory, your brain continues to work and it's not just rotting because of doom scrolling. The aim is not to get smarter. It is just to help you retrain your attention span to focus on something for longer. And if you want, you can track your progress. You can download the 6-week glow up tracker that I have in the description, and it has the full plan laid out for you. You can also track your progress on it. It will really, really help you out. Once you're done with week 1, you come on to week 2. And this week is all about your financial glow up. Because let's be honest, most of us are never really taught how to manage money. And while I've made dedicated videos on money, a part of glowing up for 2026 is to learn how to manage your money. So if you truly want to be independent, if you really want to take, care of your glow up in 2026, you need to control how you earn, how you spend, and how you grow your money. There's no glow up more powerful than a financial glow up. So for week 2, you are going to do that by focusing on these 3 actions. Action number 1 is to audit your money. So before you can grow your finances, you need to understand where you stand in terms of money. So one evening, sit down with your phone, your bank app, and notebook and write down 3 very simple things. How much money do you currently have in your savings? 2, how much money do you spend every month? Like, what are your expenses like? And what do you spend this money on? And 3, how much you have actually invested, if you've done that at all. You'll be surprised how many of us avoid looking at these numbers out of guilt or fear. But when you do this exercise, you will basically start understanding your pattern. You will start understanding where your money is flowing from, where your money is going. And that will help you create like a budget. It will also help you understand what you need to do to earn more money. So it makes a lot of things clear very, very instantly. It takes a couple of hours. So you will need to dedicate like one full evening to doing this. You can use a Notion template. You can use an Excel sheet, whatever works for you. And once you've done that, you are going to start a skill stack. If in 2025 you still believe that savings alone will make you secure, you are missing out big time, my friend. Because your skills are actually your biggest financial asset. And with each new skill that compounds, it adds another layer of earning potential and credibility and self-trust to your resume. So this week, I want you to pick one skill that either directly supports your career or builds your independent earning muscle. You do not need to start monetizing it right away, but you need to start working on it this very week. So it could involve, watching a 1-hour YouTube video and trying to practice what you've learned, or watching a mini course and then practicing what you've learned, or mapping out how you will practice a skill consistently. And all of these things are great ways to start. And finally, for action 3 of week 2, you are going to set up your freedom fund. Once you've tracked your money and once you've started building your skill momentum, you are going to set up your freedom fund. What is that? So if you've seen that one viral clip of Vivek Oberoi on Raj Shamani's podcast talking about keeping 3 times your annual expenses as a safety net, we are trying to build that fund. But you don't need to start putting big numbers just to match up. Start small. The idea is to start saving towards that goal of having 2 to 3 years of, your living expenses saved up somewhere where it is readily available to you. You start doing that right now. It can start with even 100 rupees or 500 rupees into a separate bank account every month, every week, whatever the cadence that you want depending on your income. For me personally, this amount is 10% of whatever income I've made that month. So every time money comes into my bank account, 10% of it goes directly to my long-term saving fund. So if you're earning 5,000 rupees a month, that is 500 rupees into your saving account every month. Okay? And once you put it there, you are not going to touch it. This money is not for spending on stuff that you want on a whim, right? It is your freedom capital. Now coming to week number 3, which is your systems glow up. Here we are going to learn how to build a life that runs itself. Most of us are not tired because life is hard. We are tired because everything feels like a decision. So if you count down the number of decisions you take every day, it comes out to about 35,000 in total. You make 35,000 decisions every single day. What to eat, what to wear, what to do first, when to rest. Every tiny choice drains your energy. And that is why even after a busy day, you feel like you did a lot but accomplished nothing. So this week we are fixing that, because your life does not need more motivation, it just needs better systems. And I'm not gonna ask you to wake up at 5 a.m. or to build, color-coded planners. Just follow these 3 systems that will make your everyday life run smoother. Action number 1 is to design how you set your goals. Most people obsess over outcomes, right? I want to lose 5 kilos, I want to hit 10k followers, I want to save 1 lakh rupees. But outcome goals are never fully in your control. They depend on too many external factors such as timing, audience, algorithm, even a lot of luck. What is in your control are your process goals, the daily inputs that actually create results and momentum. So this week, we are only focusing on the how of things. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna pick one area you wanna improve. So let's say that you wanna lose weight. You're going to write down your outcome goal, the big thing that you want. So let's say you wanna lose 10 kilos. Once you note down that outcome goal, you're going to write down your process goal, which is the daily controllable action that moves you closer to it. So if your outcome is losing 10 kilos, your process goal is going to be to work out for 1 hour every single day and eat 1500 calories and ensure you get 100 grams of protein. If your outcome goal is to earn 1 lakh rupees from freelancing, your process goal is going to be to send 2 pitches every single day till you get a client that is ready to pay you 1 lakh rupees a month. And that's it. Okay, this brings me to action number 2, where you automate every unnecessary decision that is causing an energy leak. And you do this by creating smart defaults. For example, if you take a lot of time to decide outfits that you need to, wear every single day, your outfit default is going to be to plan 3 to 4 ready outfits that you rotate through every single day. This takes the decision fatigue out of it, right? Your meal defaults, you can fix 5 go-to meals that you can quickly order or cook. I do this with going out orders. So for example, whenever I am trying to cut back on eating on junk food, and despite that, there are times that I have to go out and socialize and meet with people and eat outside, I will fix 5 meals and I will not eat anything beyond these 5 meals when I go to a restaurant. So usually it's like chicken soup or chicken dim sums, something that is low calorie, high in protein. And that just helps me take the decision fatigue, the mental fatigue of ordering at a restaurant out of the equation. You can also set time defaults, a set start and stop time for work. You can a fixed deep work hour, a recurring block for admin or creative work. You can even automate little things such as bill payments, grocery reorders, recurring reminders. The idea is very simple. Make the boring stuff automatic so that your brain is free for what truly matters. And as for action 3 this week, you are going to practice implementation intention, because motivation is unreliable. So if you wait to feel ready, you will never do that action. That is why we use implementation intentions, which are just small cues that make your habits run on autopilot. Here's how it works. You connect a new habit to an already existing one. So every time you do the existing habit, you automatically get triggered to do the new habit. So example, after I brush my teeth, I read 1 page of my skill material. Or after lunch, I go for a 10-minute walk. Or when I sit at my desk, I turn off notifications for the first 30 minutes. If it's 10 p.m., then I put my phone in another room. That's it. Basically, you are tying any new habit you want to build to an already pre-existing habit. No extra motivation is needed. Your systems will then handle your behavior for you. This brings me to week number 4, which is your physical glow up. You can have the best mindset, you can have a solid plan, you can have all the right systems, but if your physical energy is off, nothing is going to feel right. So this week is not about changing how your body looks, it is about rebuilding your energy system that fuels your mind, your focus, your motivation, all of those things. And just like every other week, we're keeping it simple with 3 intentional actions. Action 1 is move to regulate, not to punish yourself. So if you've been working out from guilt, this week, we are shifting that. Your movement should not be a form of punishment for your body for what you ate. Rather, it should be a signal to your brain that you are alive, you're focused, and you're in charge. Research shows that when you push yourself physically, even slightly, it strengthens the anterior midcingulate cortex, which is the part of your brain that is responsible for motivation, for resilience, and for goal-directed behavior. So when you do something hard, be it that extra rep, that last stretch, that slightly faster walk, your brain literally rewires itself to handle discomfort better. That is why this week I want you to move for 20 to 30 minutes every single day with whatever makes you feel alive and present, whether it's walking, dancing, stretching, yoga, taking the stairs. Everything counts. Action number 2 is to eat for energy, not for aesthetics. Your brain and your body thrive on real nutrients, on protein, on fiber, on healthy fats. But the Indian everyday plates are carb heavy and light on protein and fiber. That is why for week 4, you're going to focus on building 1 nourishing plate a day. something that is balanced, something that has a lot of colorful food, and something that is made of real food your body recognizes, not packaged calories. For example, you can have eggs or chicken with roti, sauteed vegetables, and a handful of nuts, or dal rice with a little bit of ghee, a bowl of salad, a little bit of paneer bhurji for protein, and that's your glow up formula. And action number 3 for this week is to sleep like you mean it. If you're somebody who constantly goes to sleep after midnight, chances are that your body is always in repair mode and has no time for glow mode. So this week, your only goal is to take sleep seriously. Not as an afterthought, but as a ritual. Because deep sleep is when your brain's neuroplasticity consolidates. It helps your focus, your memory, your systems. That is why, to ensure that that happens, you are going to ensure that your screens are off at least 30 minutes to 1 hour before bed. You're going to stretch lightly to release any tension in your body before you get into bed. And you are going to set a bedtime alarm, not just a wake up alarm. Keep your room cool and dark. Get into bed when your bedtime alarm goes off. And you will be surprised how much clearer, calmer, and sharper your mornings start to feel when your recovery system finally gets the care it deserves. Coming to week number 5, your space reset. We are slowing down a little, and by slowing down, I mean actually looking around you. You see, your environment, the space that you're currently in, either drains your energy or it amplifies it. And while most people focus on mindset shifts, physical changes, or building systems when they think of a glow up, they often forget the space where all of this actually thrives. That is why for week 5, we are creating an environment, both physical and digital, that is aligned with your focus, with your energy, and with your goals. Because no matter how motivated you are, if your surroundings do not support your habits, nothing else is going to do that either. And no, I'm not asking you to buy new furniture or make your space Pinterest perfect. We are doing this through these simple, high clarity actions. Action 1 is to reset your physical space, which will take about 15 to 20 minutes. Keep it realistic. You don't need any massive decluttering projects. Each day you pick one small zone. It could be your desk, your wardrobe, your side table, your kitchen counter, anything that feels visually cluttered, and you're going to reset it for 15 minutes. You can even stack this habit with one from your dopamine menu, like listening to a podcast or an audiobook while you tidy up. 2 wins, 1 cue. Action number 2 is to declutter your digital life. Your digital world is as much a part of your environment as your physical one. So this week, remove what's draining your mental space. Delete or mute unnecessary apps, group chats, turn off notifications that constantly pull your attention, unfollow content that makes you spiral or compare yourself to others, and clear your desktop. You can also try the one screen rule, which means one screen at a time, so you don't have your phone while watching Netflix, or you don't have your iPad running while your desktop is on, right? Digital noise creates real fatigue, so figure a way out of it, essentially. And action 3 is to curate calm triggers. So this week, we are giving your environment a few sensory cues that remind your body that it's safe. Basically, these triggers can be lighting a candle or an incense at the same hour each day, or playing a calming playlist when you're anxious, or just changing your bed sheet or adding fresh flowers to your room every Sunday. These tiny, repeatable actions basically train your nervous system to associate your space with stability, with peace, and safety. And that's it, week 5 sorted. And this finally brings me to week number 6, which is your energy glow up. If you have made it to week 6, congratulations, because the last 5 weeks were not easy. I know that. Changing systems, habits, and thought patterns is hard work. But now it's time for the final piece, the one that keeps everything else running, your energy. And this week is all about protecting your energy and building your capacity. And we do that simply by rewiring your relationship with productivity with just 2 actions and not 3. Action number 1 is strategic descheduling. So this is going to sound counterintuitive, but it's going to make a massive difference in how you show up. We've all been kind of conditioned to believe that busyness or being busy equals progress, but constantly being busy and occupied does not mean that you're moving forward. Research actually shows that beyond 50 to 55 hours of work a week, your productivity actually drops sharply. Your decision-making falters and your creativity dulls. So this week, I want you to actively deschedule. Here's how you can do this. You can cancel one non-essential meeting or plan. You can end your work day 30 minutes earlier and do something restorative instead of work. You can block out one rest slot every single day. Even 20 minutes a day counts. Just something that takes something actively out of your plate. And then for action 2, you are going to build your not to do guardrails. To-do lists are everywhere, and honestly, I love them. I thrive on to-do lists, but this week we are flipping the script. You are going to create a not to-do list, a list of distractions, habits, and commitments that you are consciously saying no to. So It can be something like not checking your phone first thing in the morning, not saying yes to things that drain you, not working past your set hours unless it is urgent, and not letting guilt decide when you rest. You're going to write these down and keep them visible or mark them in your weekly tracker. Trust me, every no you say this week creates space for an even more powerful yes in the coming days. Now, if you've been wondering how all of these 6 challenges or 6 weeks come together, here's your answer. Each week, you've been rewiring one layer of your life. And by the end of every week, you already know what is working for you and what is not. All you have to do is not get stuck on what didn't work. Instead, take control of what did work and keep stacking the habits and actions that actually make sense for your life. Because no 2 glow ups will ever look the same. That's how real change sticks. So go ahead and download the free 6-week glow up tracker. It has everything in one place. And if you're ready to keep this momentum going, watch this video next because YouTube says you'll love it. And I'm going to see you guys very, very soon in another one. Bye.